Welcome back to the Bullring here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Engines have been fired and cars about to roll off onto the racetrack here. This seemed improbable 2 hours ago, but there you see Trevor Huddleston leading the field out of the back pit area and out onto the racetrack. We are just a handful of pace laps away from going racing. I did not think we were going to do it. I am an eternal optimist, folks, but I saw those raindrops were coming at a rapid rate here just a few hours ago. And boy, a huge credit to, as I said, to Tom Rule, Terry Kibler, everybody on the track services team. And that's after last race at Madera, where they went through, Tom Rule told me 60 bags of oil dry to get that racetrack in shape a couple of weeks back at Madera. So those guys working overtime here the last couple of weeks as the field now rolls out and starts to assemble. We're going to give them a few pace laps here to get things up to temperature. Let's take a look at our General Tire Pole Award winner here tonight, Trevor Huddleston. We set the field per the rule book. Qualifying was officially rained out, but we fell back to practice times to set the field, and Trevor was fastest in practice, 15.058 seconds. So that's going to give him a very valuable bonus point in that battle for the ARCA Menards Series West Championship. So Trevor Huddleston starting out the day right. He will go from the General Tire pole here in just a few moments. Pole Award winners earlier this season, Daniel Hemrick, Brent Cruz, Jake Bowman. Jake has actually won 4 pole awards. Kyle Keller's got himself a pole. William Sawalich picked up the poles at the 2 road courses. Jaron Giannini picked up that General Tire pole award last time out at Madera Speedway. And Trevor putting himself on the board here and, as I said, getting that very valuable bonus point as we close in on the finale at Phoenix coming up on November 1st. Here's a look at our Bounty Rookie Spotlight driver. And, folks, if you were a fan of late model stock car racing back in the Mid-Atlantic region, you know this guy's name. Connor Hall making his West Series debut. He's out of Hampton, Virginia, 28 years old. 2-time National NASCAR Weekly Series champion. 18 wins and 26 starts on his way to the Weekly Series Championship in 2024. What an impressive season he had last year. And this year, the 2025 Virginia Triple Crown champion, making his ARCA Menards Series West debut with us here tonight. Also got that Cars Tour champion that he's battling for back on the East Coast as well. So big couple of weeks here for Connor Hall as he looks to take Joe Ferre's Sigma Performance Services team back to victory lane for the first time this year, carrying the number 24 here tonight. Normally see the 23 on the side of that car. Let's take a look at the starting grid here this evening. We already gave Trevor Huddleston the shout out, starting P1 here tonight. Robbie Keneally, that young man, has really hit his stride here the last couple of races. He starts outside on the front row. Kyle Keller, second in the points. We'll start alongside Thomas Annunziata, one of the 3 Venerini Motorsports cars here tonight. Teammates back there in row 9. Michael Maples got into the outside wall there in practice right there off of turn 4. He's scheduled to go alongside David Smith back there in row 10, and Shane Backus, the Boilermaker, in the number 67 car, rounds out the 21 cars slated to go to battle here tonight. There's Joe Contreras giving them the signal, 4 more laps. As we take a look at the track facts here, the Bullring at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, built back in 19 Andy Houston went to victory lane there in 1998. Jerry Nadeau, Kevin Richards, David Starr, Brendan Gaughan, and Scott Lynch. The only two-time winner, and he is here, Kevin Harvick, going to victory lane there a couple of times. So there is the signal. 1 to go. We're going to go 150 laps, 56.25 miles. No scheduled cautions, no break here tonight. Only pit stops will be emergency pit stops. All tire changes must be approved by ARCA officials. And I did get that wrong. Of course, Kenny Schrader, the two-time winner across the street, Kevin Harvick, going to victory lane in 1998 on his way to the West Series Championship. Still, Mark Honkamp wisely getting that pace car down into the infield. And folks, it is my pleasure to say it is time to rock, roll, and rumble here at the Bullring. And look at this on the start. Robbie Keneally gets loose. He's way up the racetrack, but we have a battle for the lead. Kyle Keller wants to get that point for leading a lap as everybody kind of slipping and sliding behind. Keller will lead him across to complete lap 1. And he needs to be aggressive here tonight. He needs to get out front and lead some laps. And that's exactly what he's trying to do. Look at Tanner Reif in the 13, closing in, trying to make it a three-way battle for the lead. Keller leads across to complete lap 2. Huddleston does not want to give it up. He wants to get another bonus point on the board. Huddleston fighting hard in the outside groove. Keller again leads at the stripe. Great side-by-side battle for the lead. Tanner Reif closing in. Now Huddleston going to fall back in line. Keller going to pull out and take the lead free and clear as we've got a big pack of cars behind. There's Spencer Gallagher in that Spencer Clark throwback, number 23, the TJ Clark owned number 23. There's Connor Hall to his outside. Monty Tipton there in that gorgeous number 4 car. These cars now all starting to file into single file order. Back up to the front of the field. There is the battle at the front as they look to the inside of David Smith in the 05. Huddleston didn't get the greatest start, but he has followed him every step of the way as we got a battle between teammates right here. There's Thomas Annunziata to the inside, Jade Avedizian in the number 20. And I'll tell you what, Thomas Annunziata in that number 15 car, always bringing the heat with some of those throwback paint schemes. A gorgeous rendition of the old Mark 1996 car, tuned into the Venturini colors. As we now have a battle for the lead. Huddleston sticks the nose out front. Keller led the first 9 laps, and now it would appear Trevor Huddleston will lead across to complete lap 10. So Huddleston gets another bonus point. 2 bonus points tonight for Trevor Huddleston. There's Shane Backus in the 67 car. Shane making his West Series debut. There's Dustin Hillenberg in the 12. Ooh, Trevor giving him a little knock on the back door there. As we see this battle for position starting to heat up. Connor Hall in the number 24, sitting in 6th, Monty Tipton. Kind of an unheralded young man, at least here in the ARCA Menards Series West. Monty with a great run in that Eric Nascimento Sr.-owned number 4. Putting some pressure on the 2-time NASCAR Weekly Series champion. And look at this. There is the number 1 of Robbie Keneally. Robbie started outside the front row. He is racing now. Taylor Reimer trying to work his way back into the top 10. And right there, Keneally indeed moves back into 10th. But he's going to be blocked right there. Shane Backus to the bottom side, so he's going to give up at least 1 more position. He's going to fall back into 11th as we're working some heavy lap traffic right here. And that move right there by Taylor Reimer kind of threading the needle. That could be an early candidate for the Reese's Sweet Move of the Race here tonight. And it just looks like no matter where he goes, Robbie Keneally, he is going to have the pick set on him. He is going to give up a couple of more positions right there. All the way back to 14th for Robbie Keneally in the first 16 laps here tonight. This is a very familiar sight. After last race at Madera Speedway, back where he finished. Didn't lead the first 9 laps here tonight, but Trevor Huddleston back up at the front of the field and starting to stretch that advantage out over Kyle Keller in second. Taylor Reimer in the 25, Andrew Chapman in the 55, Eric Johnson Jr. in the 5, 11th, 12th, and 13th. Excuse me, 10th, 11th, and 12th. Robbie Keneally there in the number 1 car has fallen back to the 13th position. Ooh, little knock on the back door right there from Gavin Ray to Blake Logan as they raced off into turn 3 that time. Toward pace being set by the leaders, and everybody towards the back of the field wanting to do their best to stay on the lead lap. Indeed, there is Trevor Huddleston right on the back of this pack of race cars. There's Cody Dennison in the 72 giving Shane Backus a shove down the backstretch. Huddleston is there. He's got Kyle Keller in his tire tracks. To the outside of Nick Janitis. Janitis tried to give him room. He didn't think Huddleston was going to go to the top side, and he did, and that's going to allow Kyle Keller to move to the inside and take the lead. But here comes Huddleston back to the inside. A little slip and slide, dip and dive. Wow, that could be a Reese's Sweet Move of the Race right there, folks. Huddleston didn't give it up without a fight. Ooh! And we have got a left front tire down on that 71 car. There was some contact there, the left front tire. The 71 has gone flat. Tough break for Kyle Keller. And we are still green. Oh my goodness. That could have championship implications written all over it. Still green. Kyle Keller falling through the field. He is going to need to take that car off the top of turn 1 and down that pit road. Oh my goodness. We talked about the slip and slide, dip and dive. There was some contact there, and the left front tire on that 71 has gone soft. All right, here comes Robbie Keneally trying to work his way back through traffic. This race started off really well for Jan Qualkenbush's race team, and it has gone to the birds in a big hurry. Let's see if we can see what happened here. Right there is where that contact was made, and you can see that tire went down immediately. No intention, I don't believe. I think the 50 just drifted up the racetrack. Let's take a look at that pass one more time. He was way down on the inside, and that's it. He got the left side tires down on the flat of the racetrack, and that car just pushed up. And unfortunately, Kyle Keller was there. I think Kyle was trying to say thank you right there and drove that car deep down into turn 3. Realized that tire was flat. Now, boy, that is going to cost him several laps on the racetrack. Matter of fact, Keller still off the racetrack. Currently scored in the 20th position. Oh, as I said, that has championship implications written all over. Finally, back on the racetrack, new left front tire installed, but Kyle Keller, not the night he was looking for, particularly if Trevor Huddleston able to maintain where he's at right now at the front of the field. Here's Monty Tipton in the 4, all the way up into the top 5. He's got a couple of car lengths there on Gavin Ray in the number 6. Trying to put another car between the two. Dustin Hillenberg in the 12. Look at this battle. Connor Hall in the 24 car going to the front. Started 8th, has already worked his way up to 3rd. Of course, Connor's day job driving for Junior Motorsports in the late model stock car world. One of the best short track drivers, not only in the Mid-Atlantic region, but one of the best short track drivers in the country. And right now, he's proven it right here, our Bonnie Rookie Spotlight driver, and he has worked his way past another couple of really good short track drivers in Tanner Reif and Thomas Annunziata. So that 24 car, the Sigma Performance Services number 24 for Team owner Joe Ferre, looking really stout here in the early going. This, of course, the team Greg Biffle made a couple of starts for. Tyler Reif also chased the ARCA Menards Series East Championship with the Sigma Performance Services team. Finished 2nd to Isaac Kitzmiller. It's back up to the front of the field. Trevor Huddleston, and there's Bryce Hageberg pulling the number 11 off the racetrack as well. We saw that car very briefly, and there is the gap, 1st to 2nd. Correction, Connor Hall up to 2nd on the racetrack. You know, they put that scoring banner right at the top. Makes it easy for guys like me. All we have to do is look at it. Trevor Huddleston in the lead. He's got 1.1 seconds over Connor Hall in 2nd. It's a good battle for position right here between Eric Johnson Jr. and Andrew Chapman. You can see just how hard these drivers getting on the brakes into the corner here. Those brake rotors glowing bright red. So Huddleston stretching it out. He's put a couple of extra tenths of a second on that advantage over Connor Hall in 2nd. And I have a feeling Connor may be saving some of those tires for a run late in the race. Still very early in the going here. Not quite to the 1/3 mark. We've seen tire wear come into play a couple of times on the short tracks so far here in 2025. This is a good battle for position right here. Gavin Ray in 6th. There's Jade Abadizian in the number 20 car. Jade, one of the highly touted young and up-and-coming female drivers, part of the Toyota Racing Development Driver Development Program. There's Huddleston to the inside of Nick Janitis. Nick making his return to racing after battling some health issues that kept him sidelined for the bulk of 2024 and into 2025. So good to have Nick Janitis back with us in the Joe Nava number 77. And there's Connor Hall looking to the inside off of 4 down the front stretch. Nick giving them plenty of room. Tanner Reif in the 13 following through. We mentioned his younger brother Tyler. Congratulations to Tyler picking up the ride with Nice Motorsports. He'll make his NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series debut, Phoenix Raceway, here in just a couple of weeks. Of course, Tanner and Tyler, both from right here in Las Vegas. Team owner Kelly Souza was the 2024 champion owner in the ARCA Menards Series West. And my pal Michael Munoz, longtime crew chief for this team. They've already gone to victory lane once this season at Tucson. Looking good here in the early going. This team has had a rough couple of races, couple of finishes towards the back of the top 10 have kind of put them out of the running for the championship, but I will tell you, there is no one hungrier to get back to victory lane. Tanner Reif. Of course, Tanner picked up a couple of wins in the last season for the Sunrise Racing team. Team owner Bob Brancotti. One of those wins, the 1,000th race in ARCA Menards Series West history up at Evergreen Speedway. So things kind of stabilizing up at the front of the field. Still 1.3 seconds the advantage for Trevor Huddleston. And there is Kyle Keller out of right here in Las Vegas. Most of the drivers in this field, hometown heroes here at the Bullring. He drives for team owner Jan Qualcomm-Busch. Brian Kaiser overseeing the efforts on the number 71 team, and this day has not gone the way they were hoping for. 4 laps down to the leader. That guy right there, and look at this. Connor Hall has reeled in Trevor Huddleston. Huddleston has been hung up in traffic, and here comes Connor Hall. He is to the inside, nose to nose for the lead. Connor Hall to the lead. What an impressive run. Started 8th and has quickly knifed his way to the front of the field. That pass right there could be one of the candidates for tonight's Reese's Sweet Move of the race. Log on to arcaracing.com Monday, 3 o'clock Eastern Time, to see who is named tonight's Reese's Sweet Move of the race winner. And Connor Hall, wow, what an impressive performance. Made a couple of starts in the ARCA Menards Series back at the tail end of the 20-teens. Has really concentrated on late model stock cars here the last 5 or 6 years, and he has jumped back into these big, heavy ARCA machines, and he has driven right to the front. Another driver that has patiently worked his way back to the front, that guy in the number 1, Robbie Keneally, dropped all the way back to 14th after starting outside the front row and has now worked his way back up into 6th. Ooh, look at that. Jade Havadizian giving the bumper there to Monty Tipton down the backstretch. Jade wanting to get going. She's feeling some heat there from Eric Johnson Jr. Eric trying to work his way up into the top 5. So these cars really sporty, but just outside the top 5. Looked like Eric Johnson Jr. wanted to give Jade a shove down there into turn 3. Andrew Chapman now trying to work his way past Monty Tipton in the number 4. Got the nose to the inside. Monty wisely gives him some racing room right there. So Monty going to drop from was 6th just a couple of laps ago, now has dropped back to 10th on the racetrack. There's a look at Andrew Chapman out of Pasadena, California, driving the 2nd entry for Tim Huddleston's High Point Racing team. Travis Thurkettle, name very familiar to race fans here on the West Coast, crew chiefing this effort. Clean and green so far as we approach the midway point here, and things still staying heated up at the front of the field. Connor Hall stretching it out just a little bit, but Trevor Huddleston still within striking distance. Eric Johnson Jr. looking at the inside of Jade Avadizian. He'll take over that position. Johnson up to 7th, Jade back to 8th. There's Spencer Gallagher in the 23, sitting back in the 11th position. For Spencer, a former winner in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Remember a very memorable victory in the ARCA Menards Series finale back in 2013 at Kansas Speedway. And we have the 72 car, Cody Dennison, slow. Will this put us under caution for the first time tonight down the backstretch? He's got a long way to go if he wants to get to pit road. He's going to turn that car down into the infield. But indeed, that does put us under caution for the first time, just shy of the halfway point. One laps to go, and we are under the caution for the first time for problems with Cody Dennison. Cody's going to need a push back to the pits. While we do have a moment, we're going to take a very quick break. When we come back, we'll reset the field and get set to go back racing. Stick with us, folks. You're watching the Star Nursery 150, presented by the West Coast Stock Car Motorsports Hall of Fame, live from the Bullring here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. The Valley of the Sun beckons the ARCA Menards Series West Phoenix Raceway, site of the finale for the 2025 season. Expect lots of side-by-side action and a championship celebration that will rival Sean Hingorani's championship celebration from last couple of years, as a matter of fact. All the action coming up live Saturday, November 1st, live right here on Flow Racing. More information available at flowracing.com and arcaracing.com. So Connor Hall with an impressive performance, 8th to 1st here in the first half of this race. Trevor Huddleston sitting in 2nd, Tanner Reif in 3rd. Thomas Annunziata's had a pretty solid run so far. He's sitting in 4th. Gavin Ray rounding out the top 5. As we come to the crossed flags this time around, we will be halfway home. 75 in, 75 to go. On a night that did not seem like we're going to go racing at all. And these guys and gals went 75, almost 75 consecutive laps. Now, let's take a look at what happened between Trevor Huddleston and Kyle Keller one more time. Look at the left tires right there, down on the rumble strip going into turn 1. That pushed Trevor up the racetrack and into Kyle Keller. Keller's left front tire immediately went flat, and Trevor did not have a great angle getting into this corner, folks. And that car inevitably pushed up the racetrack and into the 71 he went. These two have raced each other side by side all season long, nose to tail. They have raced with a lot of respect, and I don't think Kyle expected that from Trevor right there, and I can tell he was a little upset about that. But I think when he goes back and sees that replay, he's going to see Trevor really didn't have much of an option right there. But in any case, Connor Hall leads. Trevor Huddleston now sitting 2nd. And Kyle Keller, meanwhile, sitting all the way back in 16th, 4 laps down to the lead. So we're going to come back to the green flag. We will have 73 laps yet to go to decide it. So we're going to go one more here. Lights back on the pace car. There's Joe Contreras giving the 1-to-go signal. You know, and those guys on the track services team give me a hard time. They say, you know, you mention Joe every week. But I'll tell you what, again, we cannot state it enough. Those guys, Tom Rule, Terry Kibler, and everybody on the track services team doing a great job getting this racetrack back in racing condition after a couple of hours of very steady rain. So thanks to those guys. And, hey, thanks to Joe Contreras for waving that green flag and getting us back underway here. Let's see what happens down into turn 1. Connor Hall to the inside, Trevor Huddleston to the outside. And where does Tanner Reif go? Well, Reif, now he has his hands full with Thomas Annunziata there to the outside as the field charges into turns 3 and 4. All right, let's see if wow, my voice cracking there. Lots of action. We've got a car sideways. Gavin Ray going to go around off of turn 2. That'll put us under caution for the 2nd time here tonight. And it looks like Gavin was the bottom side of a 3-wide sandwich, and I think they may have knocked fenders right there, and that took the steering wheel out of his hand, and he just went for the ride right there. Didn't really make any contact, but gonna lose a lap as the field comes around him. Oh, tough break for Gavin Ray as he was battling for a top 5 position all night long. Now he needs to get that machine refired, and indeed he does. We'll tag on to the back of the field. I was just about to say, so much action. My voice kind of getting a little scratchy right there, but indeed, Gavin Ray turning it around, and he's going to drop from the battle for 5th all the way back to the first car 1 lap down back in 13th. So a very tough break there for Gavin Ray in one of the 2 Jerry Pitts racing entries tonight. So we'll lock and load and try that again. Let's take a look at what happened over there coming off of turn 2. Right there already in progress. Just in front of his teammate, Eric Johnson Jr., doing a nice job right there to avoid Gavin Ray in the number 6. This is going to be the view right here. They're going to stack them 3 wide, and right there, I think, right front wheel to left rear wheel. That took the steering wheel out of Gavin Ray's hand, and away he went. Yep, right there is the contact, and you can tell the General Tire lettering removed from the left rear tire of the number 15 of Thomas Annunziata. I'm going to give Eric Johnson Jr. a nomination for the Reese's Sweet Move. It was a nice job avoiding Gavin Ray right there. Could have had him lined up in his sights, but nice evasive move right there by Eric Johnson. Keep him in the hunt. So Connor Hall continuing to lead. There is Eric Johnson Jr. in that Sherwin-Williams number 5. You can log on to arcaracing.com Monday, 3 o'clock Eastern time to see who was crowned tonight's Reese's Sweet Move of the race winner. So we're going to stack them up double file one more time. Connor Hall to the inside, Trevor Huddleston to the outside. Tanner Reif alongside Thomas Annunziata back there in row 2. Robbie Keneally sneakily working his way back up to the front of the field alongside Jade Avidizian back there in row 3. Let's see what happens. Mark Honkamp bringing the pace car down into the infield, and we're going to try it one more time. Looks like Annunziata spun the tires just a little bit on that restart. Let's see if that stacks everybody up behind. Connor Hall and Trevor Huddleston knocking fenders down the backstretch. Tanner Reif in the mix as well. 3-way battle for the lead off of turn 4. Now Connor Hall jumps out to the lead. He's going to try to put a little space between himself and Huddleston. And look at this battle. There is a knock to the door right there by Andrew Chapman on Jade Avidizian. Spencer Gallagher in that 23 car looking pretty racy right now. Robbie Keneally to the inside of Thomas Annunziata. Keneally back up to 4th. Still a long way to go. Here comes Trevor Huddleston. He's to the inside. Oh, Connor Hall, he had a car directly in front of him. Dustin Hillenberg checked up, and Connor Hall had to make some evasive moves right there. Wow. That could have been ugly. Caution going to be out for the 3rd time tonight. Problems over in turns 3 and 4. Nick Janitis in the 77. Looks like he has had some issues over in turn 4. Let's take a look at what happened to Nick Janitis in that 77 automobile. First, let's take a look at what happened there, right there. Ooh, so close. As soon as Connor Hall came off of turn 4, let's take a look. Dustin Hillenberg with a flat right front tire directly in front of the leader right there. Huddleston saw it coming. He had the much better line. And if you look at the top, at the exact same time, flat tire on the 77 put him into the outside wall going into turn 3. So a couple of independent incidents happening at the exact same time puts us under caution for the 3rd time tonight. I'm going to take a look at that one more time, folks. And again, as you take a look off into the distance, right there, you see the sparks and up into the wall. for Nick Janitis. Tough break for the Joe Nava team. Joe was very excited coming into this race. Of course, another name synonymous with stock car racing here on the West Coast. If I have my history right, Joe Nava may be one of the few owners still competing who raced at the old Riverside International Raceway there in Riverside, California. Joe had some late model cars that raced in the old Southwest Tour there, and looks like that's going to be some terminal damage to the Nick Janitis number 77. Right front suspension looks to be pretty compromised on that automobile, so tough break for Nick here tonight. So this was the points coming into tonight. An 18-point gap between Trevor Huddleston and Kyle Keller. Right now, as they run, it's going to be a much bigger gap than that, unfortunately, for Kyle Keller. He had some issues with a flat left front tire after contact between he and Trevor Huddleston. Has lost several laps. Keller now up to 14th, was last 20th at one point. So should the race end now, and it's not going to, but should the race end now, Huddleston would score 566 points, whereas Kyle Keller looking like he would score 528 points. And that tells me, unofficially, 38 points as it stands right this moment. Not quite enough to lock that championship up going into Phoenix, but it would be really good for Trevor Huddleston. Not so good for Kyle Keller. 38 points as it sits right now. There is the damaged number 77 for Nick Janitis. Nick. Looking like he may finish maybe 17th or 18th, depending if Dustin Hillenberg is able to get his car back out onto the racetrack. So we'll get the 77 off the racetrack, make sure there's no debris in the racing line, and once that happens, we'll line them back up and hopefully race to the finish. Should have just about 50 laps to go once we do get back to green flag racing. So Tanner Reif, first time we will see him up on the front row for a restart here tonight. Looking for his second victory of the season. Talked about kind of the end of summer. You know, I don't want to call it a slump. He was still finishing up in the top 10. But, you know, that team, especially the last couple of years, that team has been accustomed to finishing in the top 3. Last 3 finishes for Tanner Reif: 10th at Portland, 8th at All-American Speedway, 8th at Madera Speedway. Meanwhile, Trevor Huddleston's last 3 finishes: 5th at Portland, 2nd at All-American, 1st at Madera. And now you see why that points gap between the two has blown up into what it was. So I think Tanner Reif at this point in the season, he's hunting checkered flags. He's got a good shot at it here tonight. He's going to be outside this front row for what could be the final restart of the night with 50 laps remaining. Keep an eye on Connor Hall in the 24. That race car still extremely fast despite dropping back into 3rd. Back to the restart line. Green flag back in the air. Field charging down into turn 1. Let's see what Reif can do on the outside. He can't make it stick. Now he's going to have to guard the inside, and there is Connor Hall. He's going to fill the gap. Hall trying to take over second off of turn 4. Does Connor Hall have enough race car? Does he have enough tire left on that number 24 car to get back up there and battle with Trevor Huddleston? Tanner Reif giving him a little shot in the back bumper there for turn 4. Oh, Robbie Keneally way up the racetrack again. Keneally had worked his way back up into the top 5. He's going to drop back to 9th. Oh, it has been a tough night for the Jans Racing team. So the top 5, now the top 8 have fallen down into single file order, now inside the final 50 laps. There's the gap between first and second. Huddleston stretching out about a half a straightaway lead, I should say, over Connor Hall in second. And here is, as he has done all night long, Robbie Keneally now trying to race his way back up into the top 5. Tanner Reif now feeling some heat from Eric Johnson Jr. These two battled for the win at Tucson Speedway earlier in the season. Jake Bowman also in that mix. And I would be remiss to say, folks, as we close in on the 40 lap to go mark, we have not seen the 19 car here tonight. The 19 team not in attendance for the first time since 1995. The Bill McAnally Racing team has missed an ARCA Menards Series West race. The last race that team missed, the season finale in 1995 at Phoenix Raceway. That race actually was a combination race with the NASCAR Cup Series. Only 2 West teams made it, and only a handful of West teams even entered that race, and Bill McAnally Racing was not one of those teams entered. That was the last race. And it has been, make sure that I get this right, it is an impressive stat. 395 races consecutively that Bill McAnally Racing has fielded at least one entry, and that streak ends tonight. That team, however, chasing after a championship in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Still 2 teams alive in that battle for the Truck Series championship, so BMR kind of redirecting some of that talent, some of those resources to battle for those 2 truck championships. Well, 1 truck championship, but 2 of those teams battling for the truck championship. They have indicated in a public statement that they fully intend to compete for the ARCA Menards Series West title one more time in 2026. So we look forward to having Bill McAnally Racing back in 2026, but not here tonight. Ending a 30-year streak. So, hey, congratulations, 30 years. That is a long time to not miss a day of work right there. Here is the battle. This is the battle for 5th and 6th. Thomas Annunziata in the number 15. Looking to send Venerini Motorsports out with a solid top 5 performance here tonight. There's Andrew Chapman in the 55. They're going to get together. Chapman, hold on to it. And that's going to open the door. Here comes Monty, tipped into the inside of Annunziata. Here comes Robbie Keneally. More contact. Down into turn 2. Tipton looking to the inside of Chapman. Chapman trying to hold on to it. Here comes Annunziata. They're all going to get together off of turn 4. Oh, Jade's going to go around down into turn 1. They all got together coming off at turn 4. And I think Jade fought that car as long as she could and just got behind on the steering going down into turn 1 and couldn't catch it. And boy, look at this. Raindrops falling here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We saw the fans down there in turn 1 exiting the grandstand. Don't know if this is going to be a long shower or not, but in any case, raindrops falling here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Let's take a look at that replay one more time. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to change my opinion on what just happened here as we see this. Here, Andrew Chapman fighting that race car, and look at this. They all just get together right there. Chapman up the racetrack. Annunziata gets into him right there. Then he bounces off into Jade. And, of course, Jade can't keep up with the steering because I think the racetrack is wet. I think that's what happened right there. It started to rain at exactly the same time. Jade went sliding down into turn 1. Let's take a look from the speed shot here as they all come together right there off of turn 4. And 55 into the 15, the 15 into the 20, and the 20 goes for a ride. And the yellow flag, I believe, was waving at the time. I believe we had already called the caution for rain. One more look at it here. There's the 20 into the 15, into the 55, into the 15, back into the 20, and Jade comes out on the short end of that stick, going down into turn 1. Now the caution flag was waving pretty quickly right there, as the 15 was about to spin down into the 20, and there you see why we are still under caution. Raindrops falling. We had this scenario earlier in the season at Colorado National Speedway. Had not quite gotten to halfway in that race. Of course, we have passed the halfway point here, so this would be an official race. While the raindrops continue to fall, we're going to step away for a quick break. When we come back, we'll update the running order, update you what the plan is here, as looks like Kyle Keller going to get a little piece of good luck here. He's going to pick up a free pass, pick up one of those lost laps, as raindrops continue to fall here at the Bullring at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Welcome back to the Bullring here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Still working caution as we wait this little passing shower to make its way through. And as we are waiting for Mother Nature to get it together, we'll remind you the season finale for the ARCA Menards Series West coming up Saturday, November 1st, Phoenix Raceway. We will determine the 2025 champion live right here on Flow Racing. For more information, go to flowracing.com or arcaracing.com. And we've seen a dramatic turn in that battle for the championship here tonight. Kyle Keller now working his way up to 13th position, still 3 laps down. But hey, stranger things have happened. We get to the end of some of these races, these drivers start to get aggressive and things start to happen. He is currently the first driver a lap down, so any subsequent caution we have here tonight, Kyle Keller could be in pretty good position to pick up the free pass. The downside to that plan is going to be the track conditions. The longer it takes to get this racetrack back ready to go, the more caution laps we're going to burn, and the less chance Kyle Keller is going to have to get any more of those free passes. So we'll have to see how this plays out. But in any case, nice night of perseverance for Kyle Keller. So we were talking about Kyle Keller being 13th. At one point he was 20th. Here is why. The 50 down onto the flat of the racetrack, drifted up and made door-to-door contact and cut down that left front tire. And Huddleston got away with it pretty much scot-free. Kyle Keller not so lucky. One more look at it. He was way down to the inside had to make the corner, turned it, car hit the flat and went up the racetrack, and that just so happened to be where the 71 of Kyle Keller was. All right, understanding that we're getting the 2 to go signal this time around, so a couple of more laps, we'll be ready to go back green flag racing. So we will have, if my math is correct, about 11 laps to go. Still plenty of time for anything to happen. And don't forget, folks, if we do go into overtime, unlimited attempts at overtime. All right, so we got the 2 to go signal that time. So 10 to go when we will go back green flag racing. Unlimited attempts at a green, followed by white, followed by checkered if we do need to go into overtime. If the white flag is displayed and then the yellow flag comes out, we will have unlimited attempts at a green flag and white flag together, followed by checkered, a 1-lap restart. All right, lights off on the pace car. Coming back to green with 10 to go. Connor Hall needs to get the restart of his life right here, folks. Trevor Huddleston to the inside. Connor Hall to the outside. Tanner Reif. Eric Johnson Jr. back there in row 2. Huddleston with the advantage on the start. Let's see what happens down into 1. Oh, we've got a car sideways. Eric Johnson Jr. going around. We're going to stack him up down the backstretch. Ooh, so close right there. Monty Tipton also involved, and he could have taken out 3 or 4 other race cars right there, but that will put us right back under the caution flag. Tough break for Eric Johnson Jr., who was up into the top 5. That'll drop him to the tail end of the lead lap. Let's take a look at what happened down in turns 1 and 2 on this restart. Connor Hall slipped the tires just a little bit right there as he got on the gas, and everybody kind of stacked up behind. Johnson got a little bit of help right there. Same situation, I think, that we saw with Trevor Huddleston earlier tonight. Monty Tipton also got sideways coming to the green. That car darted to the inside. He did not have the greatest angle going down into turn 1. Let's take one more look at it. Keep an eye on the number 4 car. Down to the inside. He gets sideways, way down to the bottom side of the racetrack. And he just can't get the car turned and up into Eric Johnson Jr., and around they go. See some damage on the 15 of Thomas Annunziata. Boy, tough break for all of those cars involved, all on the lead lap. Monty Tipton and Eric Johnson Jr. both battling for top 5. And how about this? Kyle Keller picking up another free pass. That should move him to 2 laps down versus the 4 that he was down. Hey, what have we said? Stranger things have happened. This is why you don't give up right there, folks. Keller still scored in 13th. So let's reset the top 5. Trevor Huddleston still leading. Connor Hall in 2nd. Tanner Reif in 3rd. Robbie Keneally up to 4th as we get the 1 to go. How about this young man, Blake Lothian, having a career night, sitting in 5th. Gavin Ray, Thomas Annunziata, Andrew Chapman, Taylor Reimer, and Jade Avedizian, the top 10. All right, we're going to try it again. 4 to go this time by. We're going to try it one more time. Another shot at it for Connor Hall. Making sure those tires are good and warm, good and clean. Coming to green. Huddleston leads them down into turns 1 and 2. Tanner Reif into the back of Huddleston. We've got cars way up the racetrack, down into turns 3 and 4. Everybody scattering with 3 to go. Reif to the inside of Connor Hall. Can Tanner Reif get in there and battle for the lead? Here comes Robbie Keneally to the inside. Ooh, Havadizian bouncing off of Eric Johnson Jr. Everybody scrambling for every position on the racetrack. Here he comes to the white flag. Final time around for Trevor Huddleston. No pressure from behind. Huddleston into turns 3 and 4. Looking at the checkered flag. Connor Hall not going to get there. Give it to Trevor Huddleston. Connor Hall across in second. Robbie Keneally, Thomas Annunziata, and Tanner Reif, the top 5. And just as he did 2 weeks ago at Madeira Speedway, Trevor Huddleston taking the checkered flag and putting his stamp on the 2025 ARCA Menards Series West season. Unofficially headed to Phoenix with a 37-point advantage over Kyle Keller in second.
So Wright lost a couple spots there at the end, finishes in the 5th spot. Here he is rolling up to victory lane. Trevor Huddleston gets it done.
And I'll tell you what, one of my favorite things is Tim Huddleston in victory lane. Even more, one of my favorite things, when he gets to interview his own son. We're going to send it trackside to hear from our winner, Trevor Huddleston, as he gets set to climb out.
Picking him up, putting him down, baby. Here he is, getting out. He's unbuckling. Your winner tonight in the Napa. Your winner in the Star Nursery 150, Trevor Huddleston. Oh man. Craig Q and Star Nursery did so much to make this event. We waited all day in the rain. The thing was not great when you unload it. Jeff Schrader, the crew, you guys put an awesome, awesome race together. Trevor Huddleston, you are the winner. Congratulations.
Wow, yeah, no doubt. I just want to thank my crew first. Yeah, we did not unload good. I think we were 12th, legitimately. So they stuck to it, believed in our program, and they made it happen. Man, that was a little rough. That was an amazing battle with everybody. The biggest bummer of it all, we had some transmission issues. I lost it into neutral, hit the rumble strips, and into Kyle. Bummer deal. I knew we were going to have a good battle. People are going to be mad a little bit. That's part of racing, I guess. Just want to thank High Point Racing, Race Car Factory, Spears Manufacturing, Star Nursery, Kevin Harvick, Cars Tour West, ARCA Menards Series. Wow, win number 4. That's pretty awesome. I'm pretty speechless.
Well, congratulations, Trevor. Absolute amazing win tonight here in the Star Nursery 150 presented by the West Coast Stock Hall of Fame. 2 great guys, Craig Q doing an amazing job with Ken Clapp. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys. Thank you all the fans for sticking out here tonight. We do this for you guys, so we really appreciate you. We got some more action coming tonight. It's going to be a crazy battle watching Keelan and Kevin come from the back, so it should be exciting.
All right, get some pictures. Let's go over here and see some. Hey, there's a proud mom right there. Congratulations. Hey, that's my boy. He won. Pretty cool. All right, 2 awesome drivers over here getting it done. Big night. Dude, I mean, this hot rod. Hey, Joey Denowitz there from NASCAR. Come on over here. Connor Hall. Dude, this SPS plumbing car, amazing. You guys do so amazing. Joe Farre, great team owner. Congratulations.
Yeah, just great run. Just unfortunate that, we kind of battled the weather, didn't get to qualify, and ran more laps under yellow than we got to under green. Just not the circumstances that we needed. We focused a little too much on our long run pace, and just obviously if my magic 8 ball was working yesterday, I would have focused a little bit more on short runs. But just an incredible opportunity. Thank you to Sigma Performance Services, Joe Farre, Lauren Rainier, Chevrolet, everybody who put this deal together for me, and I think we're going to show him who's boss when it comes to Phoenix.
10-4. Be looking for this guy at Phoenix. P2 tonight, Connor Hall. Oh, dude, Mr. Keneally. Oh, come over here. Come on over here, my radios. So Robbie Keneally, P3 in the Jan's #1 special. Congratulations. Big night for you, P3. Excellent night, the points. Congrats. Come on, make some noise up there.
Yeah, our last half of the season has been really good for sure. We've qualified in the top 3, I think, on the last 4 oval races, and we finished inside the top 5 on those 4 races as well. It was definitely not easy. From lap 1, I think I got hit 3 or 4 times, got put outside the top 10 twice, but we fought hard all night and ended up with a P3.
Well, congratulations. You and Team Jan have been working so hard. He's amazing to pick you two, Kyle and you, putting his own money into making you guys race. It's such a great story. You guys are making him proud. Congratulations.
Thank you.